Ashley and Jackson will be the hero.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to our live chat this Sunday evening at 7 Central Time. And we go live on Sundays at 7. So if you're seeing this here at the beginning, very few people are actually on live, so you're probably watching the replay. So thank you for watching. Hey Lorena.
I was just going to apologize for all the ads that YouTube will put on this video.
Well, I'm going to remember to take them off this time.
For some reason, YouTube keeps putting like 37 ads on our live videos.
What is up?
Overzealous much?
Hello, Sarah. Hey, Whispering Willow Farm. Hey, Murray McMurray Hatchery. What is up, guys? Hey, Carolyn.
Two legends. The Whispering Willow Farms is on.
I feel like I'm kind of like trying to get up in here in this picture. Maybe I should raise
your seat up a little bit, girl. Just bump it up. Bump and jam.
All right, what is up, y'all? We have to set our computer like on a box, and it's on a higher box right now than usual. Yay, Angela! I'm glad you're here live. So, for those of you, hey, Homestead in the Highlands, how are you? North Star Prep Stutter, how are you? Y'all, if you're new here, put your comments or your questions, things you'd like for us to address in all caps. It makes it a little easier to see. Tomato shirt, my real food. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Sarah. She said she got her shirts in, and they're amazing. We're getting such good feedback. We love that.
Well, the last day to order is tomorrow.
Yes. I didn't realize that, actually. I guess this week kind of snuck up on me.
Yeah.
No baby piggies yet, BC to Alberta. I was just out there with them a few minutes ago checking on them. Hanging with the guys. How are you? How do you adjust feeding your pregnant goats and pigs? We feed our pregnant goats the same thing that we feed our goats that are lactating, which is a blend of milking pellets as well as alfalfa and some sweet feed as well as regular goat pellets.
Some people feed their males different than their females, but honestly, we feed our males the same.
We just keep everything the same, and so
then
far it's been fine.
We add in the
mineral
for the boys that helps with stones or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's it. They eat the same. Now, as far as pigs, breeder pigs and grower pigs get fed completely different food.
So when does my book come out and get shipped? I'm so glad you asked, Beverly. So it was actually scheduled to come out on February the 9th. They actually bumped it up a week. So if you pre-ordered, you're going to be getting it on February the 2nd. So it's actually being released a week early. I just found out the other day, but that's pretty cool. I'm so excited and nervous for that day. And now it's coming a week earlier. So that's really awesome. There's the link. Thank you, North Star Prep Stutter, for the pre-order for my book.
She's back.
Huh? Who? Oh, Malia's back. Yes, Malia.
No, North Star Prep Stutter.
Oh,
you're literally like book, and as soon as you finish saying book,
haven't got my shirt sent to Canada from May. Shaylee, send us a message.
Really, she needs to send Be Unlimited a message.
Is it from Be Unlimited? Yeah, I would definitely reach out. Yeah, they're the ones that handle the customer service on that. But that's not usual. I think everybody else has gotten
probably
theirs.
They just missed it somehow, or
if it got lost in the mail.
They'll fix it.
Yeah, their customer service has been really fantastic.
If you emailed us, we would just send you to them.
Yeah.
So you can cut out the go-between time if you just message them.
We've only had a few people have issues with things like, and they have been so quick to handle everything. So it's been really nice. Oh, I'm so sorry, North Star Prep Star. I've definitely had you on my prayers lately, and that's hard. Definitely take your time to process. Someone told me, my friend GT's actually passed away since when Maya's mom died. He told me to grieve well, and I think that was some of the best advice I've ever received. Are you going to celebrate Thanksgiving? Yes, we are. What breed are your pigs? They're Mangalitsa's. It's a breed that is characteristic by its curly hair, but they are pigs that are typically raised for meat. They have a really high lard content, and so they're supposed to be really great meat. Hey, Andrew Littlefield, how are you? No baby pigs yet.
Sorry, Dale.
I didn't see.
No. Miah, can I place raised beds on sand? I don't see why you couldn't place raised beds on sand. As long as they're thick enough and they have enough compost, like good soil above it. I don't see why that would hurt anything. And 2, she's a girl from New Jersey.
Oh, and you called her male last time.
Well, in my defense, that's not normal for me. So, like, I would never have done that if I'd seen you.
On sand, what I would do if you're going to be building your raised beds on sand, I would maybe try to get some, like, if you could get some branches or logs from something like an oak tree or something that is going to break down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put cypress or cedar in there because it won't break down, but something that can retain moisture. My only concern with putting raised beds on sand would be the fact that raised beds can drain really fast sometimes, especially if your soil is really loose and if you don't have anything to retain soil. And if it's directly on sand, then it might be difficult keeping moisture in those. So I would put a good layer of branches or something, logs down in the bottom.
Soaks up water.
Yeah, so it will retain some water. Do we get to see the new chicken coop build? Yeah, probably some.
What?
Well, we're using Justin Rhodes' plans, so you can
really
we'll kind of show some. We probably won't
I really
do
wasn't
step by
planning on
step
making a step by step because that's
he's
already
got
done.
that. Yeah.
I'll probably go over a couple of the things that we're changing. Just there's a few things I think we're going to do a little different, but other than that, it's the same thing. So
Geared for life. Eyes strained from posting items on Etsy all day. Gotta get some blue light glasses. We love you guys. Learned so much. Working towards starting our own homestead. That's awesome, Christina. Congratulations. How do I know when my carrots are ready? Sarah, the only way to you can kind of like move the soil away from the shoulders of it, but just pulling one out to test is really the best way that I know to really know when they're ready. And sometimes it's dinky and you got to give it more time. So, wanting to plant baby greens in a plastic tote. When do you start yours? More or less, I usually start them about now, the beginning of October or something like that. So, it just depends on where you are, but you can start them whenever. If it's hot outside, I wouldn't keep them covered. Did you forget about cowboy candy? No, I didn't forget about it. I actually tried something new before I wanted to make a video because I was trying to make it with honey, and I decided to try to freeze dry it, and it exploded. So apparently you can't put high sugar stuff in a freeze dryer. It was my first run, and I learned. And so I just haven't made more. I was waiting to get more peppers growing. What do you do with alpacas, Courtney? Mostly I just wanted them, but we did shear them, and I'm learning to spin. I practiced spinning a lot last winter, and then as soon as spring came and it was time to work in the garden, I just was like, realistically, this is not going to be a spring and summer hobby for me. Too much going on. And so I'm actually planning on starting to practice spinning again now that things are slowing down. But yeah, I have alpaca fiber. I was going to try to card it and make it into roving myself, but I think I'm actually going to probably send it to a mill and pay somebody to do that just for the sake of time. But I'd like to be able to make yarn and eventually make something with it.
Greenleaf cannabis care. Yeah, we definitely got some hoodies coming for the cold season.
Yeah.
So that'll be included in our next design release. So the current designs, they're going to close tomorrow at midnight. And then they're going in the vault for a while. Who knows when we'll bring them back. But then we got a couple we're going to come up with some new designs for November. And I think we'll do a hoodie then.
Yeah. I have been playing music lately, Andrew. I've been moved my piano back up here after a remodel, so it's been nice to have it back at the window. I didn't play it as much when it was downstairs, but I did play my guitar a lot more while it was downstairs. Midge,
do you know a good place for a small, reasonable high tunnel? Actually, funny you should mention that. We're about to release a video where we are putting in a 10 by 12, essentially, high tunnel.
Mini version of what we have.
That they remember back before the shindig. got canceled and all this stuff happened, we were helping Miss Carla, our friend, put in her garden beds. And it actually turns out that Grower Solutions, this is one of the reasons why we love companies like this that are family and just awesome. They actually donated this kit, this hobby greenhouse kit that they have, which is a 10 by 12, to Carla. But we didn't get a chance to set it up because of just all the COVID stuff and time. And
she's got some health issues that make her immune compromised. So we
just didn't want to go over there until it was safe, really, where we were sure that it was safe. So we actually just started setting it up, and we should have a video out this week talking about that. And honestly, I'm super impressed with it. It's probably a better value as far as a 10 by 12 greenhouse than anything I've seen. It's honestly not that much more expensive than the Harbor Freight one. And it's construction-wise, 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
It's UV stabilized plastic. It got roll-up sides. It's going to be a pretty nice thing. Yes, they can stand it. These greenhouses can withstand like hurricane winds. They just can't sustain constant.
Yeah, it's at like 80 miles per hour. It can sustain 80 mile per hour winds.
Sustained.
But like beyond that, it just can't be sustained like for long periods of time. So I don't know. We've loved ours. So it's been really awesome. Hi, Mom. I saw my mom come in.
I think honestly, like for those who want to have the benefits of a high tunnel, you could use it for seed starting. You could use it to grow in and extend your season if you're just needing a small space. This is probably going to be the best value for your money. And honestly, the coupon that they're running constantly for us gets you 10% off of that whole kit.
Yeah. Yeah,
the only thing that they don't discount is the shade cloth, which it's not that expensive, so that's a pretty good deal.
Jess, you should auction off what you make out of your alpaca yarn. I don't know, Cynthia. I am not a super skilled. I crochet. I know how to crochet. I don't know how to knit. What I do is pretty rudimentary, but I don't know. Like the kind of skills like this that take a long time to like really produce something, it's hard for me. So I don't know. I'm probably going to treat it like it's gold plated once I finally get something done. Sowards in Ohio. Is your Ohio family near Central Ohio? I have a friend who mentioned.
There's probably Sowards in Ohio that are somehow related to us, but not directly.
Like none of our immediate family is still there.
The only side of my family that's near there that I know of is in Indiana, and they're not Sowards. They're Roos.
Wanda, how do you cook red noodle beans? I just put like a little oil in a pan and get it kind of hot and just saute them until they're soft. And I usually put like some garlic, and you can throw like soy sauce in there or coconut aminos or something like that. Yeah, as far as I know, the haulers are fine. I talk with Meg back and forth. I've talked to her just a few days ago, just texting. But they have a new baby and she's shared publicly that the baby does, cry a bit. So
like babies,
they're adjusting. But yes, they're okay. Would you prefer? Okay, if you could have an in-ground garden easily, would you prefer that or raised beds? Very good question, Heather. If I had the kind of soil that just exists in Iowa, I would probably do no dig in the ground the way Charles Dowding does. And Charles Dowding says that he's actually repaired very rocky and clay soils with doing it that way and does grow in the ground. So there are benefits of raised bed gardening, but I definitely like it. I would say I like them equally if the soil is good. The house on Avery Road. He said, I accidentally saw Jess yesterday. So I was getting ready to go into Whole Foods right before I went to pick Miah up at the airport. Mm-hmm. And I hear my phone ringing, and I'm parking my car and get parked, and I pick it up, and it's very obvious that Mark has called me and doesn't realize it. And so I just sit there for a second, like I'm like looking up his nose because he's just got his phone out. Like, hey, Mark. I'm like, and he looked at it. He looked so shocked because I'm just sitting there on his phone. I'm like, did you mean to call me? And he said, no. I laughed so hard. And so I was just like, well, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Just like gave him lots of affirmations. I was like, your daily little dose of affirmations.
What kind of basil do you use in strawberry basil lemonade? I don't think it matters.
Nah, just whatever. Probably, I mean, I usually will go for like a Genovese or a sweet basil or something like that, maybe a purple. I don't grab the really spicy ones, although I think it would probably taste good. What do you do with kohlrabi? I made a really good kohlrabi slaw last year. I didn't have just a whole lot of it. I put some in some pickled veggies, and that was good. I want to say I roasted it a couple of times. I can't really remember what all I did with it, but the slaw was probably the most standout thing to me.
Triple H Farm said, put Tasha on our prayer list. She's having surgery.
Oh,
We'll
definitely. Goodness, I'm sorry to hear that. Y'all let us know if you need anything. Trip H Farms are our neighbors.
Down in Hot Springs.
Down about an hour and a half away from here. Somebody said something. Oh, Bridget Dean, I'm glad you caught us live. Welcome. I do a lot of fermenting food. Yeah, kohlrabi is one of those things you can pickle real easy. Of course, you can ferment to pickle them. Why are my garden vegetables extra small? Laura, they probably need
lack of nutrients.
Yeah, lack of nutrients. Or it could be uneven watering, because if they're not getting water, then they can't absorb nutrients.
That's true. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. You know, Kat, we need to put a thing where you can just get a link to the t-shirts from there. I keep thinking we need to do that, but we just haven't figured out how to do it. Okay. It's late in the season. I love pickles. Someone said oh, it's Nathan. Yeah, Nathan. We were actually at our friends Jill and Nathan's house.
Tracy.
And they one of their friends was there, and he brought over, I think it was fermented. Wasn't it fermented kohlrabi? It was like pickled fermented kohlrabi. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I didn't try it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, he turned his nose up at that.
So my cousin, which is fun, so my cousin who is like me, so like there's certain people in our family who like have a bunch of kids and love it, and there's certain people in our family who don't have a bunch of kids because they don't love it. And Tracy, my cousin Tracy, who I grew up with, like, you know, you have that, like your cousin Amy, like the one you like hung out with all the time. Like Tracy was one of those cousins for me. Anyway, so she lives in Oklahoma still. Like, no, she's in Texas now. But she was in Oklahoma. Anyway, she was looking into doing like gardening and homesteading, and she started Googling like information about it and found Jessica and recognized the last name, obviously, because she was, you know, related to the Sowards family. Yeah. And she's like, I wonder. And then she was watching videos and saw that this was my wife and hadn't made the connection yet. And so she found our YouTube channel, and she's related to me completely by accident. But anyways, so Tracy just messaged me and said she's actually here watching, so she might be commenting now. Say hi, Tracy. I think it's so cool that one of my cousins, I'm going to bring that in so Tracy can say hi. But I just think it's funny, really cool that one of my cousins like watches us and wants to learn how to do this stuff. So anyway, she said that she pre-ordered your book, and they didn't take the money out right then, which is a good point, because they actually take the money out when it ships, I do believe. But I also want to say, Tracy, you didn't have to order the book. We would have just sent you. Like, you can just message me. Thank you so much for ordering. Now I've got to send you something else. So we'll figure out some other thing we can send you.
Yeah, for those of you who were not in here earlier. We could send her
seeds, couldn't we?
Yeah, for those of you who are not in here earlier, the book got bumped up a week. So it's actually coming a week early. If you've pre-ordered it, it's going to come out on February 2nd instead of 9th. So that's very exciting. Okay. Let's see. I grew a kohlrabi and was told it could be used in a coleslaw. That's what I did. It was really good. I want to say I put some apples in it and shredded them. And then maybe some cabbage and kohlrabi and carrots. That's what it was. And just mixed it together and dressed that. And it was really good. I'm having a rough time with roots. Oh, here's Nana. Tracy's on there.
Hi, Tracy.
she's commented.
She sent me a message. She pre-ordered Jessica's book.
Also, you can say hi to everybody else there saying hi to you.
They're all saying, everybody. Bye, Nana. We don't want to see you go.
Oh, we're going to come back.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I know you
this is Nan and Puppy's last week this week before they go back to Florida. Everybody's saying hi to you,
Hi,
Nana.
Nice to see your sweet face.
Oh, nice to see you too. I can't see you, but it's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you with my heart.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, that is really cool.
Tracy is an avid watcher.
I know. She messaged me about ordering the book. I'm like, Tracy, what did you
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, Nan and Poppy have been here since the beginning of August.
Yep.
And so they just came for a little extended visit to spend some time with us and enjoy the farm this summer. It's starting to get a little cold for Poppy.
A little cold for me?
But they've been great help.
God, it's nice here. Not much of help, but it's been nice.
Oh, yes,
I'll
you have
enjoy
to help.
I'll see everybody in the spring.
Yes.
Yeah, when is that? When is spring?
April?
April. Okay, I can do
Okay.
April. I think it really starts in March.
Okay.
But we could do April. No, May's too late. You already missed out. Everyone wants to see her in April, right? Yeah, and we'll put it to a vote on YouTube. If everyone votes in April.
Hey,
then
Two
you come
Family
in April.
Homestead.
No, okay. So it's been
Yeah,
pleasure.
no, yes.
So
yes,
Malia
come back in
is
April.
actually here. You guys are going to see her on the vlog tomorrow.
I love you too.
All right. You can go back in, call people on the phone, talk to
Okay.
the pops.
Okay.
Malia is actually here
Okay,
right now. We picked her up from the airport yesterday. She came in to spend a few days, and her and Nana are going to be working on the mural out where we're moving the bees. So we brought her in while Nana and Poppy were still here, and then everybody's going to go home. Yeah, she is missing tomatoes. That's true. Is there going to be a Dr. Witchy sticker? Yeah, we'll probably get around to a lot of tomato stickers in the spring. Will there be baby alpacas soon? I'm actually not 100% sure. We did breed them, but we were dealing with some health stuff with them at the time. And so we decided to hold off on breeding. And then I was reading different things about how the way that alpaca anatomy works is that sometimes the males, if they have not been kept with the females, will force breeding even if the females are already pregnant, and it can cause them to abort the pregnancy. And so once we got everybody healthy and decided who all we were going to keep, we were just like nervous. I was nervous at that point to put Manny in with the girls in case they had not been bred, in case they had been bred, because I didn't want to force or risk aborting the pregnancies. So I decided to just wait and see. If they were bred, they should be giving birth like pretty soon, because I'm pretty sure it was like October of last year that we bred them. But once that year, because they're pregnant for 2 weeks shy of a year. Once that point has passed, I feel like one looks a little thick in the midsection, but I don't know. I just felt like it was better to wait. I just didn't want to risk it. And so once that year is passed, I feel like it would be obvious, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I've never had them before. I have some goats that look, twice as wide as they are tall when they're pregnant. And I have some goats that hardly show at all, that you just wouldn't even know if they're pregnant. And so I don't really know how it is with alpacas. They're really long-bodied animals. They only ever have one. Well, they occasionally have two babies, but usually that's a problem. Usually they only have one baby. And, their babies aren't massive. So I just don't really know. I don't know. Any news on shirt order shipping from the September 18th order? Andy?
Depends on where it's going. And then contact being limited. Just go to their site.
Yeah, but that should be after the first.
Is that after the first set? Okay,
Yeah.
So if you ordered in the second set, they're not actually printing until tomorrow. They won't start printing until tomorrow when it closes.
Because it does pre-orders and they go for like 2 or 3 weeks.
By switching to a smaller company, like the bigger companies will just get 5 or 6 orders and they'll have a set every 3 days or shipping or printing the new shirts. So even if there's only 2 shirts, they'll print them and ship them. With this other company, we're getting a much better quality product. But let's say like the first set of orders was the first 2 weeks of September. And then when that closed, those got printed and shipped. If you ordered it in the beginning, let's say you were the first order on the second round,
You'll
those
have to
don't
wait the
print.
longest.
You'll have to wait the longest because those don't print until really start printing until Tuesday and then shipping.
Right.
So that's just kind of how it has to be if we're going to do the support the local thing.
Yeah, that's just supporting a small business. That was the cost that had to come from that. So
someone said I referenced that Impractical Jokers look alike. And when I was a youth pastor, I got that all the time.
Really? I don't know about this.
You've looked this up many times. I can see it a little bit, but I always say, someone tells me I look like this guy from Impractical Jokers. I've never really watched the show, but I did look up what he looks like, and so.
Okay, so I just looked up the video. We bred our alpacas on October 19th of last year. So we should be having babies like any day now. I think probably that means they're not bred.
Probably.
Because they don't look.
Which is okay.
And that's okay. Like
I'm fine. We're going to
actually,
have like upwards of like 20 something baby goats though,
Yeah.
because I'm very confident that most of them, based off of how the bucks are acting, they bred.
Michelle McGrath, yes, we can see your comment.
I can't see you physically.
Can you explain your charcoal tree stump method? Does it light fire?
Does it light fire?
Like, is it going to burn? It smolders. It like slowly burns the inside.
It's not a lot of active flame. It's really just starts. So here's how the concept works: is you start a pile of charcoal to start burning the stump. Okay, and as that burns off, because it can't last forever, it basically turns the tops of the tree that it burned into charcoal, which then feed each other heat. Okay, so it's like if you've ever burned, like you ever knocked down a bunch of trees and burned a pile of trees, you'll see that like the two root balls of two trees will literally burn each other out because this heat is passing heat to this one, and then this one's passing heat back, and so it's like this cycle. And so when you're burning tree stumps with charcoal, essentially as it sinks into the center and burns out, these two sides of this old stump are feeding each other, and literally it will just burn all the way to the ground.
Yeah, we had a massive stump in the backyard for this big old dead tree that was here when we moved here.
I forgot about that.
You remember that massive stump, and we burned it out with charcoal, and it made this crater in the ground because it burns all the way down. Somebody asked to see my shirt. This is
it's right.
What size is this? Medium.
Medium.
Yeah. And I'm like normally like a women's like medium or large, like, I don't know, like, size 8 or 10 or something like that. And so I wear a medium shirt because it's unisex. And I have some large from this also. And, they're just baggier. So are you selling baby goats? Probably just going to cross that bridge when we get there. We do have a list for Mangalitsa pigs for people who are interested in purchasing a Mangalitsa pig. We're going to have a lot of those,
and honestly, we're only keeping 2.
Right.
So there's going to be plenty of those. As far as the goats, I mean, we probably will have some for sale. What we'll have for sale, obviously, we can't say until they're born. But I can tell you right now, like we have a really bad habit of being like, love it, need it.
Yeah. So, Michelle, your question about not being able to grow onions. I'm not really sure. Onions like pretty fertile ground, so they like pretty loose soil. If you can put them in a situation where the soil is good and loose, broken up, and it's got compost or manure or something in it, they do pretty well. They don't like staying super wet. And also you need to grow them during the right time of year. So like I know I put my onion sets in about the end of February. Some people put them in over it. Like you need to figure out whether you need long day onions or short day onions versus in the area where you are. But that's a little bit of troubleshooting. How did you name your dogs? Gabriel is named Gabriel because that's the archangel. So Gabe. He's a protector. So that's where his name came from. Con is the name of Jeremiah's childhood dog. And he picked Con because he liked his face. He reminded him of his childhood dog that he grew up with. He had a big black dog named Con. And so he named him that. And I'm assuming that the original Con was probably named from Star Trek. Is that true?
I think it was more like Genghis Khan.
Okay. And then
because he was Genghis Khan was like a big guy.
Yeah. Bear was a really cool story, but Bear is There's a long story that goes behind Bear, where there was a lot of prayer that led up to that dog and like a great desire of my heart. But a dog that I had when I was a very, very small child was named Bear, and I lost that dog, and it was heartbreaking at the time. And it turns out it was, something that led. And so whenever it came time to get him, that's just the name that was on my heart to name him. So that's how our dogs got our names.
What does that mean?
What? Oh, I don't know. The best shirts. I'm glad that y'all think so. How long will dehydrated tomatoes last in oil or not? Tammy, I had some that stayed in oil for a good long while. Obviously, you're going to have to use your discretion on that, but I mean, I would say months comfortably. Yes, I definitely have plans to do more devotionals for sure.
Also, wanted to circle back on, add a little bit of extra information on the dog thing. So Gabriel, we named him because he's a guardian, archangel, yes. But really, we were very specific on choosing a good name for him because we named the previous dog, that was a guardian dog, Chuck Norris, and
Never
he
again.
could destroy anything.
You could not contain him. He was
uncontainable.
Uncontainable.
He could rip chain link apart.
Genuinely. Like he would just power through an electric fence.
I'm not talking like dig under. I'm talking like he ripped it this way. Like he had fingers and hands and like ripped it. Like he opened it.
Like an electric fence would not hold him. We would turn it up. We were trying to keep him in. We didn't want him to get killed. And he would just go through the electric fence.
Evacuate his bowels the whole time. But
and then just keep going.
He would never stop.
He could dig out of anything.
He tore a barn apart.
So
he
we started
literally
trying
ripped
to
wood
keep
off the
him
barn.
in the house. He ripped up the carpet and ate through a door, like in the kids' room.
It was bad.
Like it was crazy. And we were like, we should have never named this dog Chuck Norris. We did this to ourselves. We declared this over him. And so when Gabriel
now we're like, Gabriel,
we named him after an angel.
And a guardian angel. So he will stay by, and he will guard, and he will be good. Yes, he sleeps out with the goats.
Yeah. We just tried your spatchcock garlic or chicken recipe for dinner with rosemary, garlic, sage, and lemon zest. Oh my Lanta. I'm so glad. That is my favorite way to cook a chicken. When harvesting radishes, what am I doing wrong? They become soft after harvesting. Soak them in some water. Like when you harvest them, just bring them in and put them in a bowl of cool water, and that will allow them to rehydrate. You can put them in the fridge and they'll stay crunchy. What is just the best tomato you've grown? I would say I have a few favorites. It just depends on what they're for, but I really love Paul Robeson. That's a really flavorful tomato, and Dr. Witchy's Yellow is really good. They're very different. I'm actually writing a devotional book, but it's one that I'm taking my time on. I'm not going to sign a contract on it because I want to take my time on that. Questions on getting beetroot to grow bigger, any fertilizer I can use. I don't know. Does anybody have any suggestions on that? I know that you don't want to give them a high nitrogen fertilizer because then they'll grow more leaves and less roots. Maybe somebody can give us some advice on this.
Yeah, there's a video of when the pink door went in. I couldn't tell you what day it was and how long ago, but it was a minute.
It was 2018 that we put that in. So,
okay, so I'll just have to start back at the beginning and watch all the way forward.
Oh man, I am tired. Yeah, don't name your bull Chuck Norris. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I'm so glad, Kelly. She said Paul Robeson's been her favorite. Someone said to thin them when they're small. That's a really good point. If they're close together, a lot of times they'll compete. Bone meal is supposed to be good for beets. I've never had to fertilize them to get them to grow because the compost we use has always done the job. So I know if we get a bull at any point, we're going to name him like Sweet Angel Cupcake or something like that. Yeah, Ferdinand. I guess we could go for that. Feels kind of
cheesy.
It feels a little cheesy, but
that's what we do. We do know that we're naming 2 goats in the future, Doug Judy and Trudy Judy.
Yeah. And we still needed Demel's a goat.
Yeah, we do. And we need, some other cool character names, but I'm just saying, like, we got lots of ideas.
Miah, Diana asked, did you get your painting? Did you like your painting? The painting that she sent you the other day, you looked at it while we were at the table.
Is it the one about with the I think I've got to set up over here out of the way so it doesn't get there. It's the why can my drawing blank on my mind?
He's gonna find it to be able to show it. There we go.
Yes.
It's so pretty. He did. It got him right in the feels. Look at that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So this is butterflies for Miah's mom, and then her
Lily's
son who
my
passed
friend.
away, or Lily's was
Really
his
cool.
memorial
It's got a
flower.
great
So
note.
yeah, and it had a really sweet note on the back. So that's beautiful.
What happened was sometimes Ben likes to come and open mail with us because he's a pocket child and doesn't know how to go do anything else. And I actually do remember this now. He ripped open this package and tore up the address, and so it doesn't have it has a name, but it doesn't have an address on the back, and so I didn't have a way to send a thank you note.
Mhm.
So thank you so much. I keep it on the bookshelf with Nana's painting so we can figure out a place to put it so my kids don't destroy it.
Is Bear a Shepherd? Yes, he's actually half German Shepherd and half King Shepherd. Yeah, I'll definitely show my cheese making process, Destiny, whenever I can get into that. Once I have more goat's milk, I'll start making more cheese too. Yeah, Jeremiah calls Ben a my pocket child.
All you 90s kids out there, Polly Pocket, like he's like that. He
He's
like lives in a
pocket
little house inside your pocket, and you just pull him out and play with him every once in a while. And he's always there.
Yeah,
He's always ready to go.
And Bear's my pocket dog. So Benjamin and Bear are always under feet. Hey, I love it. Someone was asking to see Nana's paintings. I know we have a couple of them right there. Do you want to show those?
Yeah.
Right here. Under the coffee table.
I think this is my favorite one. Yeah, I'll show my favorite one. This is my favorite one. It's like a mythical creature rooster. It's not even a real rooster. There's no rooster that has that kind of color.
Yeah, so Nana painted
Look at
this. Isn't that beautiful?
That's like a rooster out of Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of rooster that hangs out in the Shire, Hobbiton. You know what I mean? It's like, if I ever did find a rooster like this, I don't know what I'd do, but I'd catch it.
Robin Snyder, I prep my garden for next year with manure and mulch, and someone said I need lime. Lime is good for adding calcium to the soil. It's also it's good for like getting the soil pH right. You don't absolutely have to have it, but I do put lime in. I do sometimes throw lime into my soil, specifically where I'm going to grow tomatoes, because it's supposed to help with blossom end rot. I put lime in with them this year and still got blossom end rot on some, because if you're not watering evenly, you'll end up with it. All right, Mark, I'll get a hold of you after this.
The what?
Our cow.
Whose cow?
Our cow that we're getting from VW.
Oh.
Yeah, we're actually planning on making some stickers from some of Nana's art. Will you write a cookbook? I do hope to do that at some point. They're actually Maya's grandparents, Christina, and yes, they're here for the rest of this week. And that's who we just showed the painting of. That's Nana. That's Maya's father's parents, Nana and Poppy are. Hey, Stivers, how are you?
Didn't y'all move today or yesterday?
Did they?
I think so.
I thought that they had.
I thought they were moving this weekend. It's got to be close. I know that.
Daphne, if you'll send me an email, we can double check and make sure that it got here okay.
Be patient with this, guys.
No, she's talking about something she sent to us.
Okay. Like, if you guys saw the amount of stuff that gets sent, it's really hard to make sure everyone feels valued and honored in that, because there's just so much.
No, I don't know where I just started.
What are you saying?
Oh, they just said, hey, everyone. I would love stickers of Nana's paintings. Yeah, I think we're going to do that.
I think we're going to do like a
really
set of
fun.
stickers.
The rooster, did she paint one with the white head? I did get a picture. She hasn't painted it yet, but I did get a picture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We also got some pictures of chickens we have here, like some roosters we have on the farm that she's going to go home and paint. Right, Nana?
What do you do with the remains of your plants when you put your garden to bed? A lot of them go to the animals and they just eat them. Some of them go to the compost pile, and if they're sick at all, we burn them. Yeah, the chicken photo in a shirt.
MX, I can't pronounce that. Shoot us an email over at the shop at rootsandrefuge.com.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to have things available for a little bit. We're going to have the applications open for a little bit longer, but we're probably going to close the applications for a little while because we are booked out for a while. And I know that applying for something and then waiting to hear back is really like stressful. And I don't want people like we thought, oh, we'll leave it open. And then that way we can draw from that list, even if it's a year from now. But I think it would probably be better for us to close it and then open it when we're looking, because we have a lot of applications right now, and we're only doing one artist a month. I think we may do 2 like next month. We may start doing 2 a month.
We'll just see. Don't commit to anything.
Yeah, I don't know. We're trying to work it out. We don't,
because actually, honestly, the artist we've got lined up for next month is doing 6 designs. So it'll just be one artist.
So yeah.
Here's the other thing is that really, let's be honest, guys, Jessica's posting videos, writing books, and doing all the inspirational stuff. She's not really running the sticker side of things. Like that's me and Michaela. And so she really doesn't have any idea exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just the logistical side of that. Like there's just no way that she could do that and do the stuff that she's doing. So I've been the one talking with the artist and lining things up, and then I'll come to Jessica and be like, hey, what do you think about this? You know, she'll help with the marketing and creative side, and then she goes back to what she's doing. So
yeah. Yeah, I get to enjoy the stickers like the rest of us. Guys, I've got stickers on everything now. Like, and it's funny because I'll like have some here where we will have taken photos of them or something, and I'll just be like drinking out of a cup or something, and so I'll just like stick one on there.
So cheap. That's really cool. If you want to just email us and get on the list, like that's fine. Just, you know, we may just respond back, hey, we've got your stuff, we've got you on the list. You know, we're booked up for this long, and we'll circle back when we're back to looking for another artist. And so just, I mean, I don't want to discourage you from, because then you might forget, or, you know, honestly, if you want to start working on designs now, it's just know that we only have so many spots, and there's a lot of requests. So, no, we do not still have horses. I think it's been over a year.
Yeah, or close. Maybe it hasn't been that long.
Over a year.
Okay. No, because they came and got the horses after they came and got their pigs, which was
the horse trailer.
Which was after COVID had started.
No, they did that. The guy that got the horses did it before that. It wasn't them that got the horses.
But this is one of those things, guys.
Why are you making it awkward?
Okay.
Just
I want to talk to you guys about
Hey guys, it's been nice hanging out with you tonight. So we're gonna go now because I don't like where this is going. This is not, stop laughing.
No, listen. There's different kinds of personalities. Okay, and this is something we learned that has been so beneficial.
I'm just gonna look at something
in our relationship. Okay, Jeremiah is one of those people who is so charismatic that can just be like on the fly, like totally, you know, like keep a conversation going. Whereas I'm the kind of person that's like really kind of quiet in one-on-one conversation. And so it's funny because we have gone head to head in our marriage, like, because I am like, I need facts to be right. Like I hate being wrong. I double check things. Like I am wrong, definitely wrong plenty of times, but I like to double check things. And if I'm going to say something as a fact, I like for it to be right. And Jeremiah's one of those people that will like just off the fly say something. And so we get to this point where like, and we did this personality test. It's called DISC, DISC. If you've never done, oh, you're reading comments. I thought you were like really tuning out over there. But it's DISC, and he's very dominant and influential, which are people who like will just speak off the cuff and then also will argue to the death. And I am very high C, which is conscientious, which means I like things. I like facts. I like black and white. I like things to be right or wrong. And it can totally overflow into a flaw. But there are times like this that I'm like, oh no, I'm absolutely certain of this. And I have to like learn to let it go. Are you going to respond to something? Or are you blocking it out?
No, I need to undo something.
What happened? Oh, well, if you've never taken the DISC test, it's really interesting. Oh, there's North Star Prepstetter posting about the DISC personality test. It is very interesting. Oh no, we definitely don't agree on everything. We do get along pretty well though. Thank you so much. Shy loves the garden. Hello from chilly upstate New York. It got hot again here today. I'm excited for chilliness. Will we ever get a dairy cow, or do you just prefer goat's milk? We will definitely get a dairy cow. We do not have the property for it now. We don't have a whole lot of space here, and we have a hard time growing grass because it's so rocky. And so having a cow would not be great here. Are you back?
I'm back.
I didn't bust you out.
Not a whole lot. Stargate Atlantis is a great show. Probably my second favorite Stargate show they've ever done. Honestly, my favorite one was Stargate Universe, and it got canceled because Sci-Fi is a horrible network that doesn't know how to keep shows on the air.
Do you think Kajari melons will grow in Florida? I would think so. They're native to Punjab.
Honestly,
India.
melons should do great in Florida because of heat and because of sand. They love sandy soil. Like, honestly, you should be growing all the melons.
Yeah, maybe someone here has grown them in Florida.
I wish they'd bring back Stargate Universe. It was a great show.
Yes, we do deal with squirrels. I dealt with squirrels way more this year than I ever have before because I didn't have a cat in my garden, and that was really hard. So I have no idea what Punjab's zone is. I don't think that they probably use the same chart as us, but like it's very hot there. It's very, very hot.
Living on a ridge? I don't know.
What about it?
Someone's saying they're looking at different areas. I don't know how to. Honestly, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't choose to live on a ridge?
No.
Depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, I guess.
If you
I can tell you right now, the property we're looking for, where we're going to be setting up the actual farm, will not have a ridge. It'll be flat, and it'll be great soil.
Yeah, like if you want to do like a ton of gardening and you're not really prepared to bring soil in, super rocky places are not the best. However, I will tell you this. There are a lot of places that are flat valley farmland, but they're next to commercial farms where they grow a lot or where they spray a lot of poison.
Yeah.
And I would choose this over that any day.
Yeah. I'm saying like.
Ideally, though, would be valley land that's flat and that.
Or at least rolling.
Yeah.
With
like,
good soil.
Yeah, that has good soil.
Like, we seriously have farmed on a rock farm.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
Carrie, we do not mix our own chicken feed. We purchase it. Do you ferment? I do ferment like in our kitchen, some stuff for us. If you're asking me about fermenting chicken feed, we've also done that, but we don't currently do that just because we would always get out of it. The next shirt order, they're closing tomorrow night. And so they should be printing and shipping this week.
Mm-hmm.
Gary actually went missing.
I was like, who's Gary?
The cat.
Yeah.
Gary
went missing and we don't know what happened to him.
And
which is why Bruce is an inside cat only.
And that is about the time. It was not long after George died, and it was just too much. And that's when I decided that I've considered, because the squirrels were so bad this year, getting a like you can go to the animal shelters and get on their list, and they'll get feral cats, and they just catch them and they fix them, and you can get them as barn cats. And I've considered doing that just because they would be better, like they're just going to go somewhere and hang out in an outside barn. But I can't handle that anymore. And outside cats are just hard to keep safe. So groundhogs, we don't have groundhogs here, actually. We have moles. And that was something else that cats handled. Yes, Xavier. I think that is what we're planning on doing. We're actually planning on building our next house. Somebody asked, so I guess we can kind of touch on that a little bit. We have a little bit of time left. So we
Hold on, I want to answer one question real quick. No, we have not shot the next 5-year vision video yet.
We've actually been working it out. That's how I was about to say. We've actually been working it out, like,
Hey,
between
listen,
the two of us.
when you're gonna put something like that on YouTube, you better make sure you like know what you're gonna say because you're putting it out there. And I'm telling you now, you guys are like my kids. You don't forget anything.
Nothing.
Like, if I tell Benjamin, yeah, we'll go play basketball tomorrow at 2:03, at 2:02 and 59 seconds, he's like, basketball time. You said, like, and I'm telling you, you guys are just like that. So if we say something in this video, you guys are going to be asking about it.
Disney Cruise.
From here. Exactly.
There
Disney Cruise. There you go. Thank you for that, Gear Fly.
No, like, we actually
Can you put moderators in timeout? But I'm saying is like, so we're making sure that, okay, this is really it. Like, we're boiling it down and like we're going to hit the high notes of what we're confident that we are going to do.
Yeah. And we actually were planning on taking the cruise this summer when Malia was here and COVID, so we have not been able to do that. But, okay, so here's where we're at. Yes, we are going to be selling the property where we currently are. The timeline of that, I think, may be towards the end of next year. That's kind of what we're looking at, but we don't really know that for sure. There are some different things up in the air that we are kind of waiting to see how they roll out. So that, that's kind of beyond us, but I think maybe the end of next year is what we're looking at. The reason why we want to move, yes, we've put a ton of work into this place. That's absolutely true. It is beautiful. It's never looked better. It's productive. It's wonderful. But
we might be doing this for a family that doesn't have the same skill set that we have. Can't build things. Have to work another job,
and so
and they want to be able to get into this life. And so maybe that's why we've been doing this.
We've invested in this for our own gain, but also with a mindset, knowing that we weren't going to stay here, that this will be a blessing to somebody. And if our beliefs are that this is important in our world and in our culture, it is, even if it's not us doing it at this place. So that's why we've thrown ourselves into this. As far as I'm going to cry. I can cry right now thinking about it. I can cry thinking about leaving this place. And a lot of people are like, why don't you just stay there? There are a couple of reasons. One, we cannot actually be fully sustainable here. We are dependent on a feed store. We are dependent on someone else for our hay and our feed.
We don't have enough pastures to rotate properly.
Yeah, we want to be able to rotate and we want to be able to have cattle. We want, right now, in order to keep animals the way we want to, really rotating, we would have to get rid of some of the animals we have, and there would be no room for expansion. We have looked at some property around here to see if we could maybe get some land. We've tried. Everything we've tried has fallen through. And for a long time, that was very frustrating. We would have leases. We would try to make agreements with people to work out something to buy, and it would all fall through. That was really frustrating for a long time, but sometimes closed doors are an answer in themselves. And then our YouTube channel started to grow really fast. And right now we are getting really close to 400,000 subscribers. And the bottom line is we live right on the road. This is not a challenge. I'm not asking you to do this, but plenty of people do. We are easy to find. We ran a business out of this address for a while before we did YouTube. And I was a published author for a magazine for a while. So we're all on the internet. There's no making it private. And so we do have a lot of people that we have a lot of people that come here. And the thing is that if the well-meaning people can find it, then so can everybody else. And we just don't want to be this public. We don't want to be right on the road. This isn't getting any smaller. And so we want a place that's more private. That is the biggest reason. We want to be sustainable. And the reason why we're not looking at other land close to here to be sustainable is that our house, yes, my garden actually does show up on Google Earth. So that's actually true. So yeah, so that's what we're looking at. We would ideally like to get a place that is big. We would like to have a lot of space. And the thing with this being the education center, we thought about that. We talked about that. There's no parking here, and there's nowhere to put it because we've used all of the property to make the gardens in the front yard.
There will be an education center.
There will be, but my vision for the education center is really big too. And so, I want
this property is not sufficient for the amount of people we want to equip to go out and revolutionize the food system and get people healthy and literally restore and regenerate the planet. So
no, the education center won't be at our house. That'll be a separate place. And so that is, will we take our animals with us? Yes. We will. It depends on where exactly we go, but we will take our animals with us. For sure. I mean, we may work something out. We don't take chickens and ducks, just depending on how much infrastructure we're able to get built at the new place. We might just start fresh with chickens and ducks, but all our big animals will go with us. So really that's the main thing. And it's crazy. A lot of people are I just can't imagine doing that, putting that much work in and leaving it. But we do believe that we've done this for a reason, even if it's not just for us. So, and we've learned so much. This has been a beautiful and fruitful classroom. And I tell you guys all the time, turn your waiting room into a classroom. It was very difficult for me because the first few years we were here, we thought we would live here until we died. We really thought this was going to be it for us. We were trying to get properly close to here. But probably 2 years ago.
I think it's good to approach your place like that.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't think that we were going to leave until, honestly, we felt like a shift and it was time. It was time to consider that. And honestly, Jessica's such a slow processor that we really figured out that we were leaving 2 years ago.
God puts on my heart a solid few years before he wants me to do anything. Because that's how long it takes me to come around to it. I'm a very slow processor when it comes to change. Bruce's favorite is Asher.
He carries him around like a baby.
He holds him like a baby and rubs his face on him. Asher is so in love with Bruce. He'll come around the corner and Bruce will just be sitting there. He's just sitting there.
He's not doing anything.
And Bruce will be Asher will be oh, Bruce, he's so cute. Did you see him? He's so cute.
And we're just looking at each other the cat's just sitting there. He's just a cat.
We call Asher
he's a helicopter
dad.
Because if the kids start chasing him around the house and playing with him, he's hey, quit doing that. Quit doing that. You can hurt him. And I'm Asher, it's not just your cat. They'll be okay. Bruce can get away from the kids if he needs to.
Yeah, geared for life. That is true. I mean, and that's honestly, I will tell you that it had kind of been on my heart about moving. And I kind of knew it, but I was in denial. I was you know how you know something in your knower, but your head hasn't quite wrapped itself around that thing yet? And it was like that for me with moving. And then Jeremiah's mom died incredibly suddenly. We were having a birthday party, and then 3 weeks later, we were having a funeral. It was crazy.
That's when it shifted for me. I knew that we wouldn't stay here after that.
And when that happens, when you really get a solid taste of life is so this life is so temporary. And whenever we look at that, man, it just makes me want to root everything in what's eternal and just do whatever it is that God tells us to do, no matter how hard it is in the moment, because staying in that vein is where I want to be, period.
Yes, we'll still homeschool.
Yeah, we homeschooled before COVID, and we'll homeschool.
And Darlene, that's the high tone we got is not from the NRCS or the USDA grant. We actually turned that down and did not get that. We ended up putting the pump in ourselves, all the irrigation ourselves, and then Grower Solutions partnered with us to get the high tone.
Yeah, so we, I don't know. It depends on whether we will take that or leave that. We'll just see. So
the high tone?
Yeah.
We're leaving it. Let me just tell you right now.
Yeah. The thing is, we built all those beds to go in it, and so it wouldn't make sense.
We built the greenhouse, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not taking that thing apart to reassemble it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We will figure out getting another high tone.
Have you ever visited Petals from the Past in Jemison, Alabama? They have an educational building orchard and on-site. I have not. That sounds really fascinating.
There's no guarantees to stay in the exact area. We don't really know exactly what that looks like, but nothing's really off the table. We're going to go wherever we feel led to go.
So yeah, do y'all practice any permaculture principles? Yes. And we're really gearing more towards that. So Yeah, Bruce has been going back and forth. I've seen him a couple of times back there. How old is Bear? Bear is actually 3. He's about to turn 3. His birthday was on Thanksgiving in 2018. So, no, 2017 Thanksgiving. So,
That's the other thing is also, the person who's going to be getting this house, I have a feeling that they'll probably going to want to grow in a greenhouse too.
Whoever is in this house
okay.
is going to want to grow food. So,
I'm sorry. What are you laughing at, Tracy? That's my cousin right there.
Oh,
Tracy Franco.
Yeah. We design your new house. Yes, that would be my hope. The thing is that like I have very specific desires for my house, and I've looked at a million house plans. Literally, like I've looked at so many house plans. But what I really want is like a big old kitchen with like, I want a larder off my kitchen. I want a walk-in freezer. Like they don't make house plans for it. Like people have like these monster great rooms and like all these different things. And I'm kind of like, whatever. But like, I want like it to function for food. We also have a lot of kids. Like there are some specific needs. All the pantry. Yes, Meg, all the pantry. And like we're musical, like we have a lot of musical instruments. So making space for those, we homeschool, we work from home. Like I need my house to be different. I like 2-story houses. That's probably what we would do. But I don't know. I mean, like,
did you check with Chip and Joanna?
to get some house designing advice.
I don't think we can afford that.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Here's how we like to do things. And this is like, we started talking about doing this 5-year plan video. And we were like, what is our 5-year plan? Like, I don't want to just turn on the camera and figure this out on the camera.
Like, hi guys, we're going to start a video about a 5-year plan. What is our 5-year plan?
And so we've kind of going back and forth.
You definitely don't need me doing that. Naming stuff off that we haven't even discussed. Like, we're going to build a rocket. We're going to the moon. We're going to farm the moon because I bet you the moon's flat and it has good soil.
And I mean, like, Jeremiah, that is impossible and it is infactual.
And I'll be like, Elon Musk went to the moon or something.
Oh my gosh, that's what we need, a video of our dysfunction. Oh. Yep, Murray McMurray Hatchery said, I've had my house I'm going to build design for 15 years, just need more time.
I hope that's not us. I really don't want to wait 15 years.
Y'all have a really cool house in the meantime, too, that you've spent a lot of work on. Yeah, it's weird, too.
You want to commit? We're going to get that video out this week. I think we're ready.
Do you?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's just put it. If we put a date on it, we'll have to do it.
They'll
never
us.
Forget. So before next week's live, we will put out the 5-year vision video.
I think we should do it. No, 2 weeks.
No.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
We're putting off other things to do that.
I know.
We've literally gone back and forth and talked all about it.
I need more time. I take this very seriously. Casting vision is a very serious thing.
Okay, hold on.
It really is.
Okay, so that.
I have to mean what I say.
That's the 23rd of October.
I have to mean what I say,
That's
sweet Miah.
That's a really long time.
Let me think about it. I can't make a commitment like this.
Okay. We're really going to try to have it out this week, end of this week. Yes, we are.
My thing is like for me, okay, so I like make vision boards, like, and I make dream boards with things that I'm like praying for. And I'm like
a Tommy gun vision. I'm just like, yeah, do it.
That sounds great. Like we're actually.
So really what needs to happen is she's got to draw a circle, and then all the bullet holes from my ideas that fall in the circles, the ones that we're going to do.
Yeah. So.
We're going to shoot for 1 week. If I say 2 weeks, it'll be 3 weeks, and then we'll be into November. Nobody wants to cast a vision in November. You guys want to wait 3 weeks? I don't think you guys want to wait that long. We're going to say this week, and if it has to get pushed off, we'll push it off. But we're going to really try this week.
Certain. It's very nervous.
If I had said 3 weeks, you'd still be nervous. It wouldn't change.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. I'm definitely thinking about the vision. money pit 2 weeks. So by the end of October, split the difference, 10 days. Yeah.
1 week.
No.
It's time.
For me, it's funny. I was talking to my friend Kathy a couple of days ago, and she was like, you know, something you say all the time is I'll say, I just can't see it yet. I can't see it yet. And that's what I'll talk about is I can't see it yet. Or I'll say, and then I really started to see it. And that's the thing for me. Like whenever I have like something in my heart that I want to like set my mind on and I want to work towards, like I just have to let it stew until I can see it. Like once I can imagine it and like really set my vision on it, then forget about it. Like I'm set on it. I mean it. It'll hit you like a wave. I receive that. Like, and that's kind of what happened. It's like I started like about a month ago, I started really feeling like I wanted to do some more writing regularly, but I wanted to know, like I couldn't quite figure out the format. I knew I was wanting to start taking photos of the farm more and really focusing on the homestead. And I started to like get this feeling and like focusing on it, but I couldn't quite see it. And literally like I'm lying in bed 2 nights ago and it was like, aha, this is what I do. There it was. And I could see it. And it's like, okay, now I know what to do. I can see it. And so that's kind of how it is for me. We're just very different creatures. We do things very different. I love how you two balance each other and have so much respect for each other. I hope to find that one day. Find hope through your relationship. Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate that.
What's up, Carol?
Carol.
She said, give me a shout out. Why not?
So yeah, that I will tell you that since
someone said, how about you give us just some hints?
Yeah, we can totally do that. I'm totally great with talking about the things that I know. I just don't ever want to sell it short. If I'm being like, you guys, if you haven't watched it yet, there's a devotional I did. I shot it, I think it was about a year ago. It might have been longer than that. It might actually about a year and a half ago. It's called Infinitely More. And it kind of shares like why this is so important to me. So to me, like a few years ago, I had totally had this encounter with the Lord, and it was over Ephesians 3:20, which says he will do infinitely more than we ask or imagine. And of course, it's within his will for us, but it's what we ask or imagine. And it really, I kind of just grabbed hold of this revelation that if I'm willing to like really set my imagination on a thing, then what I am doing is I'm giving God, who's the creator of the universe, like a diving board to surpass. Like, I mean, he's going to go farther. It's like, and it hit me like if somebody that you knew had infinite resources came up to you and said, hey, I have enough to give you anything that you want. Like, what is it? Just ask and I'm going to surpass it. Like, I'm not going to say, give me $100. Like, if somebody's literally like, I'm going to surpass whatever you ask me for, and I will be none the worse off because of it. Like, I want to, it is my joy to, and it's not, I'm using money as an example. It's not just about money. It's just about, when we dream. And I'm not going to go little. I'm going to go big. And so for me, whenever I'm coming to a point that it's like, okay, it's time to cast a vision. It's time to set my imagination on a thing. Like I've said this before, I'm not going to say $100. I'm going to think of the biggest number that I know, and I'm going to imagine that. If it's really a blank check, like if it's really going to be surpassed. And so, for me, that's kind of where this is. Like I want to see that. I want to pause really quick. North Star Prep Center said she's in the basement under a tornado warning. So
I know what it is. The kids are all on the internet.
I'll tell them to get off.
Oh.
We're back? Are we back? Okay. I'm trying to see. Jeremiah just went to tell our children because they're probably all running devices on the internet. So I was checking to see. Okay. Lots of people are saying we're back. Had to go play it. Okay. Fantastic. So for Jeremiah to get back to kind of share a little bit about some of the things in our vision, which I feel like are in our 5-year vision. So I want to tell you a little bit. I'll take you back. I am an INFJ, actually, Rebecca. That's absolutely what I am. Why is it so noisy? Yeah. So 5 years ago, let's see, we moved to this property in 2014. We moved to this property. The day that we moved to this property, a tornado came through, and it was incredibly traumatic experience. Yeah. It was incredibly traumatic experience. It's delayed, but it's back. And I've shared about that in the past, but it kind of put our plans on hold as far as trying to do the farm, and it really kind of stunted our ability to dream for a little while. And in the end of that year, I would say we kind of started gearing towards the farm, and we really started to focus on doing the homestead thing in 2015. And that was when we made our first 5-year plan. It was like the beginning of, or in 2015. I wouldn't even necessarily say it was in the beginning, but it was in 2015. And the things that were in our 5-year plan were that we wanted to like have goats, have bees,
big gardens,
have big gardens, be growing a significant amount of our food. We wanted hogs.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember what else. We have it written down somewhere. But now, are we buffering again? Because I'm not getting any of the comments.
I can't tell.
Okay, no, I can see us. So now, obviously, the things that we had then they're surpassed. At this point, they are completely like above and beyond, genuinely, infinitely more than I could ask or think. Because I can tell you that when we made that plan, I'm saying this, like, I want to be really transparent with you guys. When we made the plan to do all the things that we dreamed of, all of the farm, all the infrastructure, guys, we could not afford that at all. Like at all. Like we were on a very, very tight,
fixed income.
We were on a very fixed income. Yeah. We were on a tight budget, and we had a lot of kids. We were doing things as resourcefully as we could. And honestly, when we first stepped out on that 5-year plan, like we went into debt that we should not have gone into. We tried to do things on our own, and we did not trust God with the process. And probably about 1.5 years into that, we realized that that was not the fruitful way for us to go about it. And like, we just went through these great lessons, and the Lord, it's all in that video if you ever watch that devotional, but the Lord really shared with us like how to dream and how to like really
steward of that.
Yeah. Okay, steward dreams.
The thing is, like, you have a dream and you put it before God, and He's going to do infinitely more, but that still required us to make choices and to ask His opinion on, okay, do we do this or do we do that? Whereas before we just forced it. We're like, we'll just go into debt.
The repoed chicken coop.
And get a chicken coop that we shouldn't have got. And then it gets repoed. And then you have.
Yeah, dream with patience and faith. That's right? Such a good way.
And so you have these choices to make. And then you have all this work you have to do. Like, I know, like, I don't know what people are preaching to you. Right? A lot of what was preached to me was like, like God will take your dreams, and maybe it was just me. I just automatically connected that to like, oh, that means I don't have to like strive for it or do anything extraneous. And it's like, that's not really it. Most of the time it's like God's going to take that dream. Like, this is what partnering means. Like, He can do this thing, but like we've had to do so much work, but there's sacrifice to make that dream come true.
There's like a place of you work hard, but you're resting. Like, your heart stays at rest and you trust God with the outcome. You do. I said this other day, you do what's in your hands to do, and you don't worry about what's not in your hands, because it's not in your hands. You can't do anything about it, but you do what's in your hands to do very well. And so that 5-year plan blew us out of the water. And so we're actually now this year, like, we have reached the completion of our 5-year plan. Everything that we dreamed about has come to fruition. Literally, all the things that we thought, we hope we get to do this in our lifetime. We saw it come together in 5 years, which is amazing. Like, that's absolutely amazing. And the thing is there's this really fine line, and it's like such a juxtaposition. And this is just how it works in the kingdom of God. Sometimes it's like how you have to learn how to work hard and rest. Like, you have to learn to rest physically, emotionally, mentally, take time off and rest, and which requires trust, but also work really hard and also be in a state of rest and peace while you're working really hard. And it seems like, okay, that the Lord tells you work hard and rest. Like, he's going to tell you to do both of these things, and you have to learn to do both. And there's another thing, which is be content and be expectant. And that is another thing that it's like, hold on a second. When I get really expectant, I lose my contentedness. Whenever I stay super content, then I stop working towards more and making big goals for what's next. And that, to me, has been the season of really the last year, how to be content and expectant. I kind of touched on this the other day. And there is this thing that happens when you are completely content, and you choose to just be completely content, that's so often, that's when the next dream gets planted. It's like you can actually prepare the soil of your heart and amend the soil of your heart with gratitude and contentment. And once the soil is amended with your own contentment and gratitude, God's like, okay, now this is the perfect place for me to plant this seed to grow this next level of dream. If that makes sense. That is so good. God is the ultimate gardener. He gives us the best seeds, and it's up to us to grow them. That's so true. And like, he really does. And so, hey, VW Family Farm, we love you.
Yeah, we can't see you in real life right now.
No, but I've been praying for you guys. So where we are now, when we talk about like the reason why, I want you guys to know, like, when we talk about like casting a 5-year vision and looking at the 5-year vision, the reason why it's such a big deal and we don't do this willy-nilly is because, like, I believe there's just a ton of power in it. If you are not already like putting your vision in front of you and making it plain and writing it down and putting pictures in front of you, like do that. It is such a fruitful thing to put. One, it requires boldness. It requires vulnerability. Thank you, Rhonda. It requires incredible vulnerability. Like, right now, there are things that it's crazy because 5 years ago, to say we want bees, we could not afford to buy the stuff to have bees. We couldn't afford it. Like, when we talked about, okay, it's going to cost us about $1,000 to get into bees. $1,000 was an impossible amount at that time. And so to write down bees and goats and hogs and, a greenhouse and gardens and to remodel our house, we wrote all these things down.
There was no way to obtain it.
We couldn't do it. And it took a vulnerability to say, we want this. Because do you know that when you say you want something, when you admit you want something, you are now at risk of being disappointed. And that, my friends, is faith. When you are willing to step out and say, I'll be vulnerable in trusting that this matters to God, that it requires faith. And so vulnerability is very, very difficult. And when you've gone through hurts and you've gone through disappointments in the past, that's why we build walls. And it's why we try to protect ourselves from being vulnerable. But the problem is whenever you cut off your ability to be vulnerable and bold in your request to God, you cut off receiving those blessings. And it'll even get to the point, if you carry that facade on for so long that I don't want anything, he'll be giving you stuff and you won't even be able to see it. You blind yourself to your blessings because you shut yourself down. And I've done that before. I'm not saying that in any condemnation. I've been there. So now I will tell you some of the things that we, like, both are really dreaming for in this next 5-year season. And right now, even now, I have butterflies in my stomach saying this stuff out loud because this requires vulnerability.
Okay, which ones do you want to talk about? All of them? Because I'll just start spouting them up.
I know you will. You just go for it.
Okay, so I think the biggest one, is going to be the hardest one for me to wrap my head around achieving.
Let's start small. You're making me nervous. So we do want to build a house.
Farm on the moon. We're going to get there.
So we do want to build a house That's absolutely true. Like we talked briefly about
A
that.
forever home.
Like a forever home. It's
Yeah.
like a dream house. Like and by dream house, I mean there are certain things in this house that would move my heart greatly. Like I want a fireplace in my kitchen. Like there are things that like I'm gonna have to design it. We're gonna have to build it. That's something that is there.
Yes.
We want some land.
Okay.
I would say what we really want
Is between 30 and 60 acres.
Yeah, to start with, and eventually we would like.
Look, that's just for us.
Oh yeah, for our house. Okay.
Our place. Okay, so like that's like where family comes and visits, and where we do our own operation just for our family. Now, we want like, if I'm being honest, like thousands of acres.
Yeah, I would love like ranch.
I said it.
Yeah,
thousands of acres.
Yeah, and so
I want to run a real cattle farm. That's like.
Do you think that'll be in the next 5 years? Are you like laying on that? Dang, get it, boy.
I want well-bred horses that we train and teach people how to ride and to work and to use them to honestly bring horses back to being a functional part, and it's a sustainable part of farming.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's stuff out there that runs on gas and stuff, but I think we really need to teach people this. It goes hand in hand. Okay, on those thousands of acres, we need to have an education center that can accommodate teaching. How big? I don't know. Thousands and thousands of people every year how to apply these things in multiple different ways. Okay, how to apply it in small cities, how to apply it in 5-acre farms, 100-acre farms, 10-acre farms, how to grow their own meat ethically, how to garden. I mean, all the things like sustainable farming, regenerative farming. Like, we want an education center. That is probably the biggest thing, probably other than the thousands of acres.
So the education center is a big thing, and I'll show you guys what I see. And this is one of those things that like I can see it. And I just imagine this place, and it has this massive like glass greenhouse and this building attached to it that's so beautiful. Like I can see it. It's so beautiful. And it has classrooms and a commercial kitchen that is used like a classroom. And basically it has offices, it has an auditorium, and this will be the place. Yeah, the small vision. The house was the small vision. This will be the place where people can come and do internships. There will be lots of gardens and raising animals sustainably. And it'll be a place where people can come and do internships. It will be a place where workshops can be done, where we can hold things like conferences, and additionally to this learning center and the gardens and the crops and the different things and experimental ways of doing things, pasturing animals, raising stuff like that, raising grass-fed cattle and pastured pork and pastured poultry, all of those things. We'd also like to have like a farm-to-table restaurant on this premises. And so the idea is that you can have students that come and stay here and do internships for periods of time to learn these things, that we can provide grants. This is like big vision. We do not have the ability to do this right now, but we didn't have the ability to do it now 5 years ago. So this is big vision, but we want to be able to provide grants for people after they do internships to set up infrastructure in their own places. So that essentially what we're doing is we're sending out seeds for that kind of thing on all different scales to be able to localize the food movement into people's communities, wherever they're going back to. Additionally, on top of that, at this place, I really see having things like an event center, which of course will go in line with being able to do conferences and workshops and stuff like that. But to be able to host events there, which can enrich the community wherever we are.
We really would like to have like a really beautiful venue for weddings.
Yeah. And
we've actually already reserved our name for our coffee house and our roasting company for coffee roasting because we love coffee. And why not make it part of the dream? Because it would be cool to have a coffee house and to roast coffee.
I don't know Warren Buffett, but I do know King Jesus. And man, if I put my dreams on something, he promises to fulfill it. And so like, this is, to me, this is a vision that will bring people back to the garden. This is a vision that will bring health back into people's bodies and in their homes. It is a big vision. And so that to me is like, that's it. I mean, like, obviously we want to like to do like Airbnbs, and we have all these different things.
Honestly, and a lot of it goes down to building a safe place and an enjoyable place for families to come vacation, also to visit, to be able to go do stuff. Like, honestly, like I had this, and there's other places doing this, but like, let's say we have a functioning dude ranch with horses and cows, and like families that come and like ride horses out in the middle of like 8,000 acres and camp out. Like
we're up to 8. You just keep
how
going.
about 30,000? Is there even still 30,000 acres available?
We'll have to go up to like, listen, honey, I know you want a lot of land, but I can't go above like zone.
We'll just see.
I might
what's out there.
Squeak out 6B.
I understand, like, and like having horses that.
Thank you, Sherry.
That you go out and you like can stay out on the land. Whatever.
I love it. Yes, he wants like the dude ranch thing. He really does. And like,
and honestly, like I want to be able to produce enough meat that everybody.
Hey, North Star Prep Story is getting behind you. A real dude ranch is usually 10,000.
And she wouldn't lie.
Thank you, Ashley Smith.
So we're gonna do it, and I honestly like. Okay, you know what was really funny? Okay, my kid brought this video to me, and he's like, "Hey, this is a really funny video." Okay, it was a YouTuber called Mr. Beast, which I don't watch him, but I know who he is, right? And 5 years ago, he shot this video. He had 8,000 subscribers, and he's like, I hope that I've got at least 1 million subscribers.
He shot a video 5 years ago to upload now.
And it was a horrible quality. Like, he was shaking the camera all over the place. Like, it was just bad.
And
it was
his
worst video.
In high school.
He was in high school. He's like, I'm going to go to college, and I'm going to do this stuff. And, I hope I have 1 million subscribers. And then he launched it 5 years later
He just scheduled it.
Okay, so it went live 5 years later. He's got 47 million subscribers. And honestly, all the things he said have been surpassed significantly. Okay, the goals he wanted and like where he wanted his life to be. And it's like,
and this kid just put his mind on something, like, and it's just, and seeing that, and I'm like, he said this 5-year thing, and he's like, I really hope it says, and now here he is, 40-something million subscribers more than he hoped, and that was just his dream. And like, here's the thing, here's the real truth.
Somebody's going to come back to this live in 5 years and be like, wow, they've got this ranch and this is happening and this is happening. Bet.
Yeah. And like, we are.
Just buy Montana. I didn't know Montana was for sale.
We are currently in a position where here really shortly, like we're almost entirely out of debt where we are. Like we could just shut down shop right now. We could stop doing all the extra stuff that we're doing, raise our kids, work this garden. And let me tell you something. This would be enough, except for the fact that it's not what God told us to do. And so it will never be enough. And that is that contentment to expectancy thing that you have to learn to manage. And to me, we have been surrounded by so many inspiring people. And I know that it's going to continue, that we're going to continue. There's we do not have the knowledge to do what we're talking about.
We're going to learn it
now. We're learning.
No, we're going to learn it.
Yeah, we are. We are learning. We've learned so much in the last 5 years.
We have to learn.
And there's so much we have to learn. But the fact that we can set our mind on it and say, this is what we're working towards, we're going to give it 100% of who we are. And we know that God meets us on that. And the thing is that like right now, if we did settle, I heard somebody say this once. There's actually a preacher, his name is Bill Johnson. And he said, if you don't want more, it's selfish. And he said that is something that he gets a lot of controversy on, to say, if you don't want more, it's selfish, because so many people say, be content. And I understand what he's saying, because it's not to say that you're not content, but like for me right now, I am content, but I want more because I know how many more people that we can help.
That's true. So will you eat 1,000 kilograms of tomatoes if we collect money to buy Montana? Sure.
Please don't send us money for Montana. So don't do it.
No, I don't think it's a 10-year plan. I think I'm going to make it a 5-year plan.
Cook well, clean, babysit. Where will my room be? That's so funny, Sherry.
If it takes longer, that's okay. But I'm going to literally God's like, I'll do infinitely more. So if I say 10 years, then he might do it in 9. But if I say 5, he might do it in 6.
You could rename it Miah Tana.
Montana.
Guys,
how do
is
we
Montana
get on?
like a valid? I mean, like, guys, who are you from Montana? Who's gardening in Montana right now? Like, please, I need a long season. I need a long season for my mental health. Miah, are you aware you're not wearing a tank top?
I did check that.
Yeah, and that's it. Like wanting more for the right reasons, like saying, okay, I recognize the fact that anything that God ever gives us is like, he gives us talents so we can multiply them. Like he gives us what he gives us according to our ability to manage so we can multiply it for his kingdom. If he gives us a firm foundation to stand on, he expects us from that firm foundation to lift other people up onto it. Like that is 100% like what he gives us when we have a revelation of who he is. There will be multiplication on it. And so where we are right now, it's just a matter of saying, okay, we can benefit so many more people if we will do it this way. And you see us doing these things, like getting t-shirts from a local company. Like right now, we could be sending those sales to a big, massive business that it's not making a massive difference to. Or we can take the favor that's on our life and the blessing that's on our life and funnel it over somebody where it does make a difference. Because to that local business, having a contract like ours, where so many of you buy shirts, it's a massive blessing to them. And so what we're actually doing is multiplying the blessing that God's placed on us and allowing that to grow to be a blessing to someone else. A really great example, my friend Samantha is a Pampered Chef consultant, and I use Pampered Chef stoneware. And this summer I was making videos. People were asking where our stoneware was. So I called my friend Samantha. I was like, hey, start up a party because I want you to be blessed by this. And just that one small act blessed her massively because the reach that we have. And so when we make conscious choices to funnel the blessing and favor on our life so that it can multiply and also flow over onto other people, then we're doing what we're supposed to do. And so that is really...
We want to do all those things, but honestly, the bottom line, the thing that really drives all of this is that we want to equip and teach and financially back people to get out there and start making a difference in every community, because there needs to be more people who are teaching and inspiring people to do what we're doing or trying to do and striving to do and working to do, so people can live healthy, long lives and not have to take 20 medications and deal with disease the way that we do based off of what we're eating.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
So yeah, it is definitely, it's a really cool place that we're in right now. I feel a great sense of anticipation and just joy, like moving forward.
How do we get stuck on Montana, guys? I don't think we're going to Montana.
I love Ballerina Farms so much, Tori. I actually am friends with her on Instagram and follow her. And actually, I was just looking at her and her husband did like a Q&A yesterday, and I was watching it. If you guys aren't following Ballerina Farms on Instagram, they're so cute. They're the cutest family, but they're ranching. And yeah, I totally think Jeremiah would love that. It's a little cold there for me in that exact location, but we might do like a southern spin on that. Yeah, I can't. I'm really serious. Like, I love the garden so much. So I really don't. Like, we're going to have to find a place that Mike can have his ranch and I can still have my lawn growing season.
I don't know how much land we are going to get. I just want a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll just see what happens.
I'm getting texts from all you guys. The next Chip and Joanna games. Hey, maybe we can have that kind of reach, but for food.
Health.
Yeah, our Sebastopol geese. Yeah, they came from you guys, didn't they, Murray? So that's kind of a sliver of what we're looking at. I mean, that's the big parts of it, actually. I mean, I would say that the education
That's the
center,
big parts of the dreams. Now, what we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks is some steps we're taking to get that started.
Yeah. I mean, the sticker company was one of those things.
That was the first one. And we've got some other ideas.
Yeah. And so we're just coming up with some different things, and we're really looking forward to just growing in that direction. It's just wild. Like I try to be really transparent with you guys about the process because genuinely, like where we are now, I could see how some people would disconnect from that because they would say, oh, I can't do this because I don't get to have my husband and myself both at home. Because some people come and they're like, hey, how do you guys, do you, neither of you work? And I'm like, we work all the time. But this is our
Running
job.
Running a business from home means you work way more than when you go to work.
Yeah, like you're never off. But yes, this is our job. And I know a lot of people can disconnect because they're like, well, I'm never going to be a YouTuber with a large following that is able to make income from stuff like that. And that may be true, but that doesn't stop you from dreaming. And the thing is, 3 years ago, whenever we had these dreams that we couldn't do, I certainly was not expecting this. And genuinely, like we were led to do YouTube, from the Lord. And it was through a vision that I felt like he told me to do YouTube and it would fund our farm vision. Like that's genuinely, I remember marching next door to Jeremiah and he was sitting at his mom's kitchen table and she was still alive. And I was like, I'm going to start doing YouTube like my job and it's going to fund our farm vision. And he was like, okay, like he just learned to just say, okay, go for it whenever I get like that.
She was right.
And it really was true. That was really the voice of the Lord that told me that. So like, here we are. And so you kind of get to this place of reckless abandon and boldness when you know that God is faithful. And then you go, well, what else? Like, where else could we go? What else could you do? What else do you want to do? What dream do you want me to dream? And that's kind of the place that I've gotten to because I do feel so content. This is genuinely the fulfillment of what I wanted.
Everyone that's feeling overwhelmed about what you're trying to accomplish right now, like, large portion of what we're talking about doing as part of our vision is really being able to help
people. Yeah.
Help.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what exactly, like you need help on, but we want to be able to help.
We want to be able to do by resources, by connecting people to the right people, by promoting teachers, by teaching ourselves, by grants, by like, this is our vision. We hear like one of the biggest things that
I would love to be like a grant thing like the USDA, but honestly with much less fuss.
Yeah. Like one of the things that we've heard
no pesticides.
repetitively through this platform is how many people feel hopeless because they don't know what to do. As far as like they need help, they need direction, they need backing, they need all these things. And so it's kind of, we're at the point of like, okay, God, if you put us in this place, it's for a reason. And if you put this favor and blessing on us, let it splash onto as many people as we possibly can. Texas Hula Bear said, your channel is always so inspiring. When I'm able to catch your live chats, there are always special moments of clarity for me when God is definitely speaking through y'all. God bless you and your family. And thank you. Thank you so much for that super chat, for that encouragement. Genuinely, there's just a lot. We could go down all kinds of rabbit trails. Somebody said something about like stewarding the earth. I absolutely believe we're supposed to be stewarding. That's what we're so passionate about, because we don't want to just use it up and throw it away. Like we absolutely want to redeem the earth and see the deserts blossom. That is my dream. That is the calling on my life, is to see streams burst forth in desert places. And that is absolutely what we believe in. And so
lots of things that need to change, lots of just change needs to happen across the globe. And we're going to do our part to change the sliver that God's asked us to change. And he's put it on our hearts to change. And then you guys need to take your visions and your dreams and the things that you are passionate about and run with it.
Yeah. Holly Clark, well, I'm glad you're here with us. So, we appreciate your input. I don't know anything about like doing nonprofits. I have no idea what direction we're going to, like, as far as all that stuff, that's a little beyond like the logistics.
I don't know if we're going to do that or not. Like, I haven't really looked that far into it. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to go that route. I don't know that it's necessary to go the nonprofit route.
We have 2 employees, Peggy. We currently have Ben, and we call him Ben Turn. Sometimes you hear us say that. He was an intern. It was a nickname that stuck. We actually call him Ben most of the time that we're talking to him. We say Ben Turn when we're differentiating because we have our son Ben as well. But Ben is an employee. He works part-time here. He worked more like through COVID and like through the time where he wasn't doing other stuff. It was busy season, but he's back to part-time now. He's doing an internship somewhere, like learning to do something that he was really interested in. And then we also have recently employed Jeremiah's sister, Michaela, and she is doing the logistics of running our sticker business for us. And so this is like our slow growth here to being a blessing to other people. I actually, yes, we have thought about doing the Master Gardener thing. We were going to last year, and then we just didn't have the time to go through with, we weren't going to be able to do all the hours that were required, so we didn't. I may end up doing it online this year because they've made it online, which is way easier for me because I don't have to get a babysitter. So yeah, this has been our waiting room. Like when we talk about turn your waiting room into a classroom, like what you see here is us doing that. And our dream is that we'll be able to pass this into the hands of someone who will steward this, that this will be their upgrade and the place where they then learn for whatever is next for them. And then we're going to move on to what's next for us. Mm-hmm. Of course, we'll take you guys with us.
Most of you. all you feisty ones.
I especially like the feisty ones. So yeah, we'll take you guys with us and share the journey as it unfolds. I mean, genuinely, like we're at the casting vision stage. A lot of people are like, you already know what all you're doing. And like, I'm telling you, like we have a lot of ideas, but like nothing is.
No, you're not still in timeout. That was a joke.
So there's different levels of waiting rooms for different goal levels. Yes, Lotus.
Tracy.
It's the world with my words. He gave me a song that day. I'm working to bring the songs he gives me into the world. That's so good, Julie. So yeah, it's really incredible. And like, it's been very freeing to me because, you know, whenever we were, I'm trying to think of how to best say this. We were in ministry and we felt this massive call, but we didn't know what to do with it. And there are so many people that are doing incredible work in different ministries and having different outreaches. But one of the things that I ran into, and I've actually found this in a lot of places, I've found this in places where people are doing music or they're doing some art form or they're comedians or they're whatever. So often people are looking for an avenue to reach people. They're looking for an avenue to be seen, to be heard. And can I tell you that the thing that finally came, because for a long time it was, I felt this call. I felt this call to do something really big, but I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. And so I was really obediently trying to go be heard. I thought that's what I had to do. I thought I had to work really hard. I thought I had to go. And the thing that God actually wanted me to do was to just sit down and know him well. And from that place, what do you do with a burning lamp? You don't put it under a bushel. You remember this little light of mine. You remember that song when you're a kid. Like, what do you do with that lamp? It says in Matthew that it's put on a stand to light the house. And so what I realized, and before I really realized it, was I genuinely, the thing that you do to be placed in a position of influence is you just burn. You know, you stay connected to the source, you keep oil in your lamp, and you just burn. And I actually quit ministry, came home from a trip to India and quit ministry and said, you know what? God gave me the fulfillment of my heart with a farm and my kids and being able to stay at home. And I have been running myself ragged, trying to be obedient, striving to be obedient. And what I'm going to do is just sit down. And if I have to worship him at a piano at a window and nobody ever hears it, that's okay. Because I'm going to do what's in my hands to do. What's in front of me. And it was about 3 months later that I got the direction to start making YouTube videos. And I started to make them and nothing happened, and that was fine. And it was about a month and a half after that something started to happen. And here we are about 2.5 years later. in this place, which is incredible. And the thing that I get a lot of people that'll say, well, don't let it go to your head. Don't, like, don't this, don't that. I get a lot of people saying to us, their opinion is that it has gone to our head. They're like, oh, I see you with a nice stove and, putting up a high tunnel and doing all these different things. And look at you, you've gotten so rich and full of yourself. And people say like stupid stuff all the time. And so accusatory. If anybody's accusing you, that's not the voice of God. He's not the accuser of the brethren. And so like when people come at you with accusation and all these different things, sometimes it's really hard. Like, it's hard to manage. It's hard to feel like I'm disappointing people because I don't write back. And it's hard to feel like all these different things. But the thing that I always come back to, it's the same. Keep oil in your lamp, sit down, worship at the piano when nobody's listening, and let that be enough. Let the garden be enough. Let the family be enough. Let this be enough. And with that, and whenever you say, okay, Lord, I'm content, I'll grow it if you want me to grow it. And he says, yes. Like there's this faith and this trust that it's actually going to do what it's supposed to do. So that's where we are. That is a little bit about where we are. So I have not. Yes. Thank you for that, Southern Blessed. Matthew 5:16. I'm terrible at addresses. I'll say the wrong numbers all the time. I flip numbers around in my head. Like I have to say them out loud when I write them because I'll write them backwards. And so I always mess up scriptures. I'm like, I know it's in Matthew somewhere. So that's a little bit of our heart. Didn't expect to go fully into that.
See, all we have to do is just sit down and make a video about it.
Yeah. So.
See, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah. Y'all got the raw version. Y'all got us working it out. I think we're probably going to write it down first, and then we'll sit down and we'll make the video. I do feel better.
And then maybe we'll shoot like a 5-minute video and schedule it to post in 5 years.
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
That would be so fun. I know. I know I'm getting like encouraging messages from friends and stuff. Yeah, so it's...
How do we think climate change will affect our farm? Our farm will be an effective address to climate change. Like the goal of the education center is to equip people, teach people, and fund
sustainable farming practices.
Sustain regenerative farming, which will be the answer. Okay, it will be the answer to climate change over any of the other efforts that are taking place. The way we're farming the land will solve climate change.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist. I just watched the documentary, but I believe it.
Yeah. We've done a lot of research, but if you're interested, we watched a very fascinating. It was what kind of like helped it click for Miah, because I've done a lot of reading, but he's Ben, you stop, but Cal's part. I've done a lot of reading, but we watched this documentary. It's called Kiss the Ground. Yes, Cindy. It's very, very fascinating, and it shows a lot of the science behind tillage and
current farming practices.
Yeah, and current farming practices, and yes, he is much more visual. And so a video, it's more the way that he learns. But it's very interesting. It's on Netflix. It's called Kiss. It's not very long, an hour and a half. Maybe.
It's very good. Also, did you know that the Roundup and pesticides, the current pesticides that they're spraying, were invented by the same scientists in World War II that invented the gas for the gas chambers in the Holocaust? Like, that's what current farmers are spraying on their crops.
Yeah.
Like, if that is like I don't understand how you're a farmer and you're like, yeah, it'll be fine.
Well,
it'll be good.
Okay, let's have grace.
I'm trying to have grace. I don't know how.
People are doing what they have known to do. You know better and you do better. And some people learn better and they refuse it. Some people, like, I don't want to just condemn people for doing the wrong thing. But I do want to teach a more excellent way. And I do think that in teaching a more excellent way, it starts on a small scale and will eventually move to a large scale. And Jeremiah said this the other day. He came in and he said, he said, one thing that I've really learned with this year, and how many, there have been so many divisive opinions and directions and groups of people going in different opinions and being willing to fight over it. He said, one thing I've really learned is you don't actually have to change everyone's mind. You just have to change the current of the stream that they're all in. And here's the thing, guys. Did you ever, when you were a kid in a swimming pool, this is going really long, but it's good, so I'm going to keep going. Did you ever, when you were a kid in the swimming pool, you would have you and your siblings and half your cousins would decide to start doing the whirlpool thing, above ground pool. You get me? Did you feel me? You go and you do that. And then there's always that one kid that's like, I don't want to do this. And they try to go in the other direction. And eventually, when enough people are going in the direction, it doesn't matter. You can turn around, and it takes a lot of effort to change the direction of that.
But that's what
flow.
we're doing. We're trying to change the direction.
And so right now, all of you who are passionate about sustainable food and agriculture, and you're trying to homestead, and you're trying to do all of that stuff, right now, it feels like you're going against the flow, because you are. It's not what the mainstream is doing, but it's easier than it was 10 years ago. When I first got into organic food and wanting to buy pasture food and grass-fed beef and all of these things, you could not find stuff. Now they sell things at Walmart. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily it's not the same as buying it from a local farmer, but still, the flow is changing a little bit. And the more people that come into the demand of this is what we want as consumers, eventually it's going to change. Eventually the direction is going to change. Eventually it's the person sitting in the room full of farmers that says, I don't want to put Roundup on my crops, is going to not be the odd man out. Eventually the one who refuses to give up the Roundup will be the odd man out.
Right. And honestly, the Vincent's I encourage you guys to watch that documentary, because there's a guy on there that runs a much bigger farm even than you're running. And he says that it's way more profitable. Yeah. And he explains why.
Yeah.
He's saying, honestly, he struggled for 5 years doing it the conventional way that we're doing it now, most farmers in America. And he's switched now. He got behind this when no other farmers would. And he's making per acre way more money than he was making before.
Thank you. There's the website for Kiss the Ground. And also, for those of you who are interested, I do suggest our friends VW Family Farmer on here, and they are farming a lot larger area than we are. They're we have our small farm, but they're farming.
Yeah.
And
sure.
they're doing cattle and pasturing pigs and doing pasture poultry, and they're doing it on a much larger scale. And I think we need to look at people who are making these efforts to do this on a larger scale. It's called Kiss the Ground. It's on Netflix. And it's just fantastic. It really was. My friend Macy actually sent it to me right after they dropped it. She was like, you got to watch this. And I wanted to, but I was kind of just busy. I don't watch very much TV. And so he and I watched it the other night, and it was just really, it was the aha moment for him to really get it. And I've read some different books that have talked about it, but
and also I'll be honest, on the flip side of things, I'm also not behind the current organic practices, because I don't, anything that's going to be regulated by the government, I think we're in a bad position.
No, you definitely want to look at regenerative farming practices. Honestly, the main thing with regenerative farming practices is not tilling. And also how you manage
the reason why I'm bringing up the organic thing is because a lot of farmers can't switch to that because it costs so much money to get all your certifications. And it's how am I going to cover the overhead of getting organic certified? Some places can, but the vast majority don't, because of the hoops you have to jump through to get organic certified.
Well, and also just because, for instance, just because you buy meat that's organically it's labeled organic, it doesn't mean that it was raised in practices that are regenerative.
That's
it
true.
doesn't mean that it was
and
pastured,
also just because it's
grass-fed.
Organic vegetables doesn't mean that it was farmed
Sustainably
or regeneratively.
Yeah, largely.
That's actually more important than that certification, if that makes sense.
My town just sprayed something in the area and killed off one of my hives the next day. We actually just lost 3 hives.
I think I lost 3 of my hives, and I think someone sprayed something at night because they were literally gone.
Fine. And then they were
fine,
they left.
and then they're gone.
And it just, no. Well, they've been coming out and spraying under the power lines, and they're not supposed to do that here, but they did. And I don't know, but another reason why I just want to be in a place that I have lots of land. But,
Hey, what's up, Xavier? Remember when you were born?
So yeah. Anyway, we don't have to go down that.
We got lots of videos we can make. We've been on here for an hour past our regular time.
Yeah.
So let's get back to your regularly scheduled YouTube content. Go watch Netflix's Kiss the Ground documentary.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. God bless y'all. Till next time.
Bye.